Hello, hello, hello. All right, we should be live. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for giving me another couple minutes to get ready. I had to go and take care of a couple things, but we managed it in the end. I'm going to get the chat all synchronized here, and then we will get started. And I do need to grab my lip gloss, actually. So, actually, one more thing. I will get lip gloss. Left it in my purse. Then I found it again. All right. Do we have a choice? I mean, you don't have a choice, but you can be angry about it or you can be okay with it. Is the choice that you can make. You choose your emotional response. All right, there we go. Now my lips don't feel super dry. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Okay. So, we are here. It is Friday, and that means it is time for our Friday night Q&A. This is an 18 plus only live stream where we hang out every Friday and we ask questions, we answer questions, we talk about various happenings in the kink world. I recently did a video on some Reddit Am I the Asshole stories, and I was recommended by a couple of people that I had missed a couple that apparently are really good. And I hope you all enjoyed that. If you did get to check out that video, I would love to hear any follow-up thoughts that you have about the video or your reaction that you had to different stories. And generally speaking, I usually have a couple of different things we can talk about in the title of the live stream, but really it's up to whatever y'all want to discuss, whether that is things that are in the title, general, BDSM, dating, kink, polyamory, queer issues, pop culture stuff, all of the above. I reserve the right to not answer any particular question because it's my live stream and I get to decide what I want to talk about. But in general, as long as you're not overly personal and you're respectful, it's all good. Just don't be weird. Don't be weird. Respect the mods. And you're good. That's I don't answer medical advice, don't give medical advice. So if you're wanting that, unfortunately, I am not the person to ask those questions to. But there are lots of doctors on YouTube, so maybe go ask one of them. This dress is not vintage. It is from Disturbia. I bought it last year. This is like my favorite spring summer dress. It's a full length red dress. It's so comfortable around the house. It's like a perfect mid lightweight but not sheer, just doing things around the house dress. It's like my favorite running errands / doing house cleaning thing. I wish it was in black would maybe be my only complaint. If they made this dress in black, I like it in the red because I don't own a lot of clothing with color, but if they made it in black too, I wouldn't be upset about it. It is not a date night. This is just a regular old stream. No date night. Nothing in that department. All of my date night energy is being saved for Kink Fest next weekend. Kink Fest, Easter weekend, April 18th until the 20th. I'm excited about it. By the way, if y'all are going to see me, I do have kink conventions in the title. So we could talk about, I like the before convention. I know some of you are maybe going to your first one. Maybe you want to know what they're like. I definitely am happy to give advice about what it's like to go to a kink convention. And also just a big FYI, if you see me there, feel free to say hi as long as I'm not in the middle of a scene or have my credit card out because I'm buying something. Feel free to come up and say hi and, hang out if you want to. It's all good. I know some people, I'm very appreciative, and I feel like I hope it reflects well on me that I have the kind of audience where people are very cognizant of being respectful of other people and creators enough to be like, oh, I want to make sure it's okay to say hi. So feel free to say hi. That's a big reason why I go to big public events, is it's an opportunity for y'all to come say hi and chat with me for a bit. And I meet all kinds of people at these conventions, and it's just really nice to see some of y'all's faces in real life if that ever comes up. Sometimes you just gotta wear a dress. I wear a lot of dresses. I don't generally wear them like when I'm streaming. Like I don't know. I have a very different like wardrobe like for real life versus streaming stuff and like being on a camera. Ask a doctor in this economy? Well, if you ask him on YouTube, it should be free. But fair enough. If you're in America and you gotta like, some insurances do have a benefit where you can call a nurse and talk to a nurse's line. And oftentimes, I think urgent care sometimes will have like triages. Went to Seattle, there was a really good place called Zoom Care where you could go to a Zoom Care location and get urgent care like right away. I don't know. There's some places you can go to that don't require paying a copay, but it's few and far between. Alrighty, so I think I got through all the things. Read the rules down below. 18 plus only. We can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. That's it. Oh, there's my dog. She's currently, it's like an I Spy thing. You have to try to spot where the blanket ends and where my dog begins. She is currently in her snoozy mode. She was hanging out the last couple of days with a very big, very active dog. And she's normally tired this time of day. She's a nap queen. But especially after being on high alert around a large dog for a couple of days, she's like, is it safe? Is it safe? Can I nap now? Zoom Care rocks. I use it all the time. They even stapled my head shut for me. I was not prepared for where the end of that was going. I thought it was going to be like, they even gave me a free lollipop. They even like asked me my pronouns. No. They stapled my head shut. I just assume the image that conjures up is like you walk in like Frankenstein's monster holding its head and then like grunting and being like, rah, 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 like put my head back on my body and then getting your like by the neck, like getting your head stapled back on. That's definitely not how that works. I don't think we've ever done that. I don't know if that's our technology is there as of yet. Oh my goodness, that is funny. Yep. Evie only wears those long flowing white 70s dresses with flared sleeves. Oh, you know it. I love a maxi dress. I love a sundress. I have like a variety, but definitely my favorite are like the boho, like black witchy boho dresses for sure. Actually, my favorite dress is actually a romper. Like, I have a specific from Mary Wyatt. There's a specific romper they make that is so cute, and it laces up in the back. I wore it to go see Nosferatu, so that's how you know it's really good, because it made the cut for watching Nosferatu in a movie theater. That is my favorite dress I've ever owned. That's not like designer. That was like not that expensive, comparison-wise. Alrighty, let's get to some questions, shall we? Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Ooh, been doing an OMAD fast, which is 1 meal a day, by the way, for people who don't know. And it's been about 24 hours. If you do not count the stray hazelnut I ate half an hour ago. Oh, goodness. So now you're going to have breakfast. Good. Have some breakfast. Good luck. I like the idea of just having like you just found a hazelnut on the street and you're just like, this is a freebie. Oh, goodness. I've never done OMAD before, but I know people who have done it. And, you know, if it works, we're not going to yuck anybody's yum, right? Yes, I'm also looking forward to relaxing tonight. How is Bandy? Can we go over that already? She's good. She's a little tired. Had an exciting couple days with a big pupper who has a lot of energy. I think she's happy to be back in her own space, not contending with other doggos. Oh, thank you, Sean. Sean has gifted 5 memberships to viewers. If you like to become a member of this channel, you can turn on gifting memberships. You can go to the YouTube help page to learn how to do that on your account if you would like to potentially randomly receive a gift membership. You can also join for a whopping, and this is true, 99 cents. I know. In this economy, 99 cents? What does that buy you? Half of an egg? Maybe. But it also buys you 1 month of getting to use emotes on my live streams. That is the only thing they are for. That is why they exist on my channel, because the only way to have emotes on a live stream is to have memberships. But if you would like to join and be a member, you can use emotes, and you also get a little cute little Pomeranian slash hamster slash dust mote, whatever you'd like to interpret it to be. It's supposed to be a Pomeranian. I understand it also looks hamster-like. I will not split hairs on that one. It's fine. You can also get a little membership badge that keeps track of how long you've been a member for. But welcome to all our new members, and thank you, Sean. Hazelnut was on the counter, and it is a vegetarian grilled cheese sandwich. Ooh, delicious. Yeah, memberships are tariff-free. You're right. They have not figured out how to do tariffs, but if you join as a member, this is true for any YouTube thing, pretty much any subscription you pay for on the internet. If you have an iPhone and you pay for it through the app on your iPhone that you downloaded from the App Store, they charge an extra 30%. So the cheapest way usually to get things is to do it on desktop, because there's not an in-between like Android or Apple to take a couple other percentage points off of the thing. I think Apple, it's like 30% or something, which is like, Apple doesn't even need to make products anymore. They can just like skim the, like, does that seem like a racket? That kind of seems like a racket to me. To have Apple providing a storefront and then charging 30% off of every single transaction just for like making a phone that the apps happen to run on. Like that, how did that, I mean, I guess they have, because like if you want to have a successful app, you do like need to be on the Apple store. So I guess they can. No tariffs on that though. It's actually blocked on iOS. You have to do it through the browser. Oh, I did not know that. I guess YouTube and Google are they're playing hardball with Apple on that one then. Wow, okay. The more you know. It's so small on my phone, I thought I was one of those plushy octopuses. Listen, if you want hamster, plushy octopus, Pomeranian, however you see it, that's however you see it. That's on you. That's on you. I will allow you to interpret it whatever way you would like to. Ever have lyrics in your head you have to belt out all the time? I've had Sleep Token's new song stuck in my head off and on since it came out, which, by the way, is called Caramel. Or Caramel, if you'd like to say it in the proper Sleep Token way. Had the song Caramel stuck in my head. It's like so catchy, but really sad at the same time, which, to be fair, is most of the music I listen to. Even when I'm happy, I listen to sad music. I'm like, ooh, when I'm sad, I listen to like sad but folksy music. When I'm happy, it's sad but folksy, and when it just gets, the instrumentation gets more intense, although not always. It depends. I just like moody music, I think, is probably the more honest answer. Just something that has like a strong mood to it, strong lyricism, more than anything else. Not genre, not even necessarily the lyrical content per se, just across the whole spectrum. iOS charges are always more for everything. That is, in fact, ridiculous. Polly the polar bear. Oh my god, that's so cute. I love it. You can do super chats on iOS where I guess Apple takes a cut, but memberships specifically are browser only. Oh, I see. Okay, so you can do super chats. Okay. Google is 30% too. Services actually their biggest income now, not hardware. Apple and Google. I thought Apple took more than Google did. Maybe they're the same now. Music they play at the Renaissance Fair, but when it rains and you're stuck under the tarps. That would be such a good, like, YouTube, like one of those YouTube visual ASMR things where it's like soft, quiet background music when you're at the Ren Fair and it's rainy outside and you're getting an ale from the beer house. Like, that's what it needs to be. And it's got like, you can see like the walkways, and you've got all the different like stands in the background, and there's like a big tree. Oh, I can picture it right now. And the tree like kind of swaying, and there's raindrops, there's like little candles you can kind of see in the background. Oh, that would get so many views. I don't even know how I would do that. I don't know how people make the sort of I Spy-esque, like, not 3D, but like the moving pictures where it's not a video. It's not like when I make a video, it's like it's got images, but they move only a little bit. Whatever that's called. I don't know if that is a specific term. But I think that would be really fun. I don't know how people make that. I guess it's sort of like collage. I think there must be something in like an Adobe suite, like an Adobe product that lets you do that. But I have no idea what that is. That's so outside of my realm of knowledge. YouTube takes up to 50%. They do. An ale and a hot pretzel. Ooh, love a hot pretzel. Love. But I don't get it with butter on it, and I don't get it with any of the big salt. But I do get it with mustard, okay? It doesn't need anything else on it, just the pretzel and mustard. That's it.
Dark Desires donated $5.
There we go.
I was looking into verbal humiliation, but I don't want to go a sub to 8 or 9 out of 10. I much rather play around with the control aspect of it. Like if I want you to go to a 4.3 out of 10, I don't want it to end up.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm interpreting going to an 8 or a 9 out of 10. For people who didn't hear that, it said, I'm looking at getting into verbal humiliation, but I don't want to go to an 8 or a 9 out of 10. And essentially, they're into the control aspect of it. And if they want you to get to, theoretically, a 4.3 out of 10, they don't want to go to like a 4.2 or a 4.4. Any ideas? Specifically with humiliation, I really think, I know this is not like a super satisfying answer, but when it comes to something involving like feelings and emotions, because those are so unpredictable and so internal, it's really going to be hard to predict ending up at that like 4.3 spot and not accidentally like a 5 or a 2. The first, I would say, at least half a dozen times you do it, even playing with the same emotions, just because feelings are circumstantial, right? What affects us? Oh, well, we're honking. We're okay. We got sneezes. Okay, we're good. All right. That's some puppy allergies around this time of year. I have allergies too, but she gets a little sneezy. Okay. So the first couple times you do humiliation, even when you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, like things hit us differently in different contexts, right? If it's like a Saturday afternoon and we're in a really good mood and we're well rested and we're like excited about the scene, the emotions we experience are going to hit us a lot differently than like Thursday, end of a long week. We have like a really big important meeting with our boss tomorrow that we're like not really prepared for, but we don't really know how to be prepared for it. Like just the context around it. I mean, same thing with physical pain too, but I think with emotions, it's even more intense because when you're doing pain, right, you can go like, okay, is that a 1? Is that a 2? What is that number for you? And you can grade off of that. Whereas with feelings, you have to fully evoke the feeling. And then it's really hard to just hit the same button again and have the same feeling, pull that exact same lever again a second time, if that makes sense. So what I would probably, mustard, yeah. It's called animation. It's just simple animation. Okay. I didn't know if it had a more specific term for that very specific kind of animation or if like that's just like what it is. So I appreciate the clarification. Everyone's talking about food and it's like making me really hungry because I've only had a protein bar today, which you should not do. But I just got too into cleaning today and I lost track of time. It happens. So I would say if you want to stick with the control aspect of it, I would almost say you don't necessarily need humiliation to be the way that you get there if it's about the high level of emotional control. I might think about playing with different emotions, whether that's fear or surprise or anything else that's like a more like negative emotion that you could potentially play with. That just gives you a bigger sandbox to be in that's not quite so limiting. And I think humiliation has a tendency out of all the different emotions to go the most awry and either like totally fall flat and like not work at all or be like way too intense. Whereas I think with fear and surprise, it's a little bit easier to regulate those because they're emotions that we're more used to invoking in kink than humiliation. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else has any ideas for humiliation, especially because it's not really a kink that I play with on the top side, like, at all, ever. So any other insight would be very welcome. I think humiliation should be a slow build up into. You can truly hit a chord in someone you never expected to if you're not careful and attentive. Small things can trigger easily. Bless you, puppers. Yes. Yes. And then she's hiding behind the blanket. It's very cute. Yeah, and I think to get to that point where you are being super exactly what you're allowing your partner to experience, it's also going to be at least partly like training your partner to be able to give you that depth of feedback as well. And that's a whole separate process too, because, you know, a lot of us, either as bottoms or playing with bottoms, we've been around people, or we know people, or we play with people, where when you ask them, like, how is this for you? What number is this? They're like a 7? Like, they're not confident in their answer. They maybe don't even get the question to begin with. And they're also maybe potentially trying to fish around for what is an acceptable answer. So if they feel like they're pushing you too hard, they might say they're experiencing more than they really are, so that way you feel successful. Or the opposite could happen too, where because they don't want to seem like a baby, even if something is really intense for them, they'll say it's like a 4 or 5 when it's really like a 7 or an 8. Which is not behavior you want to encourage. So it's also, I think, about training your partner to be able to give you those really like detailed pieces of information. And again, going back to the desire underlying this being for a higher amount of control, I would think about it like, okay, part of controlling my partner's experience and part of what can be humiliating as well is making them tell me in great detail what they are experiencing, what's coming up for them, like whether it be like being turned on or the fear or being afraid of failing or like being conflicted with their emotional experience, whatever it is, having them disclose that in a very intentional way where like you're checking in and you're like making them explain, hey, what's going on for you? What's in your head right now? What are you thinking about? Almost making them believe that you can kind of read their mind and be like, I will know if you're bullshitting me, so you have to tell me what you're really thinking. And then like we're warning them and giving them praise, however like reinforcement works for them, to encourage them to do that again in the future, because it's so easy in kink, whether you're somebody who's maybe more passive in everyday life, or you don't really have experience, or you're just a people pleaser or anything else. It's so easy to even unconsciously not be honest with ourselves, let alone with our partners, about what it is that we're really feeling. And so this can kind of help you build in that direction of getting that level of disclosure that maybe you're looking for. Maybe a system where you and your partner rank the specific emotional activities on an average day and then basically say, oh, today I'm not starting at a 3 instead of a 1 or a 2, as a way to communicate how sensitive you might be, specific to certain emotions at that time. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think just a general, for any scene, really, a good check-in beforehand, it can include figuring out, hey, where are you at today? Where are you at compared to baseline? And again, that is something that can take a lot of time for somebody who doesn't have practice doing that to learn how to give that kind of information, because how many of us are trained in everyday life that people don't really care how we feel. They just want to be polite and check in. And this is also a cultural thing too, because it very much depends on where you live. Some places they're going to give you the straight honest answer, and that's how people are. But being American, my bias understanding is that most people, when they ask you, how are you doing? What's been going on? The default immediate response is, I'm fine. I'm doing pretty good. Even if you're barely hanging on by a thread, you lost your apartment, your dog is sick, life is not going very well. The default response is, I'm fine. Because we get asked that so much of people who are not invested enough to really care about that answer. So it's untraining those tendencies just to jump to, I'm okay, I'm fine, I can deal with this, because it is, even in a DS relationship, it can be seen as a weakness for a partner to fully disclose, hey, so I had a rough day today, and this thing happened at work, and my boss is mad at me, and I broke my favorite cup this morning when I was making coffee, and blah, blah, blah. And normally people, because they're afraid of judgment from other people, or they're afraid of being thought of as being lesser in some way, they will conceal that, they'll hide that, and they'll go, oh yeah, today was fine. Yeah, it was whatever. Yeah, I can still play today. It's whatever. And like, I know that I still have that tendency too, because sometimes I do just want to like grin and bear it and get through it, because sometimes it is worth it just to like power through. But really, you should be given that information at the start to be like, oh, okay, well, that sort of means based on this information you gave me, am I right in assuming that means you're like more sensitive? Because some people also, it could be the opposite too, right? If they've had a really hard day leading up to the scene, they might be in like emotional stonewall territory, and they might not be in a place to like access any really intense emotions because they're so numbed out to them for being able to get through their day to day. So it could not just be overly sensitive, it could also be undersensitive too. So it goes both ways. The time, which was unexpectedly intense, it was good, but I did have to stop. I had that mind reading experience. LOL, they made me admit a deeper, embarrassing motivation to continue the scene. Ooh, yeah. That is beautiful. Yes. I mean, you have to stop the scene, unfortunately, but when you have that moment when you're like, am I communicating with you telepathically? How did you know that you should have moved to do that exact thing? Crazy. And that is what happens when you get to really know your partner, is you get to live a little bit more in the moment. And this is something that's been on my mind a little bit lately, but I don't really know if I want to make a video about this, because I feel like I've kind of covered it in other places. I don't know. Y'all have to let me know if you think I should do like a deeper conversation on this as I get into this little mini rant here for a minute. But I will say this, I'll just highlight this really quick in the chat. I find it useful to ask my sub, what are you feeling, instead of how are you feeling? Yes, because then it's not the standard rote question you get at like the grocery store. Now it's, oh, I have to identify a specific thing. And that is very, very subtle shift. Not a lot of pressure, but I think that's a good move. I know. I do love her ears poking out over the blanket. Ooh, Evie, I'm moving to a big city in a month, so I'll finally have access to an IRL community. Ooh, congratulations. That's super exciting. Wow, very fun. Like we wound down over 5 to 10 minutes, so there was at least some payoff, LOL, but yeah, it was something I had never really thought about myself. Yeah, fair. But yeah, the thing that I wanted to noodle on a bit with y'all that's kind of related to this idea is like getting into a place in a scene where, you get into that sort of more quote unquote mind reading place, which is like, how do you do that intentionally? I don't think you can. Like, maybe when you get to like a really, really high level of MS and you do like hypno kink stuff and you're like really all up in their emotional business all of the time, maybe you could do that more reliably. But I think what ends up happening is when you're talking about how to do scenes and you're educating people on how to do kink, you have to provide that information to the most common denominator, which is giving people a very intentional, methodical way of how to achieve certain experiences. And I feel like this is something I'm like good at doing, is systematizing how to approach different aspects of kink, whether it be getting into power exchange or even like getting into a primal headspace or doing a scene in general. Like, what does the flow of that look like? If you were going to break it down into its parts, what does that look like? What order do you do them in? To give people a runway of how to get started for themselves. But if you stay in that place of only ever doing anything by rote, where you're just, okay, we do the negotiation, and then we do 20 minutes of warm-up, and then we do 20 minutes of like more intense warm-up, and then we do like 5 minutes of like the peak intensity of the scene, and then I check in and I see what they're doing, and then I stay at the intensity for another 5 minutes if they're doing good, and then I have 20 minutes of like slow ramp down, and then I have another check-in, and then I like fully ramp down the scene, and then we have aftercare, and we do this, and it's just very like boom, 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 A, B, C, D, and like you're doing it in a very conventional way, where it's like in a dungeon on a piece of furniture, and it's following the norms of what you see within BDSM. Like for some people that's really satisfying. Like, there's a lot of people who are autistic in the community. There's lots of people that are all different flavors of neurodivergent in the community. And I think especially for people like that, maybe sticking to and having that really strict structure is just something that they like feel comfortable being in, and that's like satisfying for them. But I think that's something actually Midori talks about in her classes and like demonstrates in her classes, is like moving away from, okay, how do you not that doing scenes that way is like training wheels, like it's like a lesser way, but it's different. Like how do you, it's maybe not like training wheels versus like being on a regular bicycle. Maybe it's more like taking a bike for a ride around like a neighborhood with like paved sidewalks or like a bike lane versus like going trail riding. Maybe like where you're like, there's kind of a trail and like it's sort of in the woods, but it's like not very clearly marked. It gets kind of muddy in some places and there's like rocks and dust and, you know, it goes all over the place. It can be kind of wild. Like moving from that into more of the like wilder sort of untamed way of doing kink that's more improvisational, less following of strict norms within BDSM. And how do you move from one to the other? And what do you do if you're the kind of person where the only thing that satisfies you in kink is doing the stuff that's more improvisational and less like technique driven, or less like just like if you are the kind of person who is maybe not one to follow standards, and maybe are in a community where there's a lot of people who are alternative, neurodivergent, etc., where for them maybe following a really strict guideline is like, you gave me a guideline which makes me like hate it instantly because it's a guideline and I don't want to be restrained via a guideline ever for any reason. So if you're that kind of person, how do you get to do that trail riding version of things when like you haven't actually done the regular bike riding yet? You kind of implicitly have to like put up with the more normal way of doing things, sort of safer sandbox way before you leave the sandbox. I don't know. It's something I'm noodling about, but I'm curious if anyone has any thoughts, because I know with like it can be really satisfying to do things, and like this I talk about this too, which is the way that you process kink internally can look very, very different compared to how it looks from the outside. Because I absolutely know that I've done scenes that if you were to look at them from the outside, I'm sure would have looked like very boring and very rote and would have not have seemed original at all. But because of the emotional connection that I was having with my partner while that experience was happening, it made it feel really different. And it made it feel like I was in the moment, I was doing something special. And I've also been in scenes where, especially with like pickup play or like new people, I've done the very by the numbers stuff where, okay, we're on the cross and we're doing a caning here, we're doing a flogging here, yada, yada. And it just doesn't feel connective at all. And I think it is partly like because of the fact it's so constrained by like following those norms. But even within norms, I think you can have very emotional experiences. But like I think it's like, how do you make something feel really like deeply connective when you're doing something that's more routine? And then, because I think sometimes there's this idea too that it's not as emotionally intimate if you're doing something that looks like kind of boring. And a part of that is like fantasies, right? Like we have sort of our fantasy idea of what we can do in kink. And, you know, most people are not fantasizing about, I want to go to a public dungeon and I want to do a 20-minute long flogging scene where they like flog my butt. Like, even if that is part of the fantasy, like if you're reading that maybe in a kink erotica novel, typically that is going to be jazzed up in some ways compared to real life, right? Like the way that we do scenes in real life is not typically the way that they are experienced or talked about within a fantasy. So anyways, I don't know. I'm just rambling. I don't know if that makes any sense for people. Yeah. Scene improv is a high risk, high reward, amazing when it goes well, a mess when it goes poorly. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to do it with a partner that you obviously trust a lot. And like it's, especially if you're playing in the scene and you're meeting people in the community and you're playing in public, there's not necessarily really like space, like literal physical space sometimes to do more improvisational stuff, because most dungeons, floor space is at a premium. So they have spaces that are set up where it's around a cross or around a bench. And like, you can't really like improv too much with like just a bench in terms of like, you're not going to be able to like chase each other or like wrestle or like, you know, cause even when it's like, oh, we have to put mats out, you have to like pre-plan a bit. for what kind of improv you could potentially be doing. And then you have to have mat space to be able to do things that are more improvisational. Like it gets complicated. Oh, today's my 21st birthday, watching from a campsite with my girlfriend. Ooh, beautiful birthday idea. Happy birthday. Happy 21st. Enjoy yourself. Yeah, all right. I think I'm gonna stop rambling for a minute here and get back to some other questions. But I don't know. That was just like some thoughts I was musing about, because I think like I'm as I like more and more of my play that I do that I realize I find like satisfying is basically just like, I've always kind of known this. Okay, like time out, real talk for a second, y'all. Time out, real talk. Okay. This is the deal. Okay, so like Primal play has always been my number one kink for all of time, for forever, since before I knew that was a thing and knew it had words. Okay, that is the reason I am in the kink community. That is how I found the world of kink. Is I thought pet play sounded interesting. I did research about that. I took the BDSM test. My number one result was like 98% Primal prey or something, and then Primal Hunter was like number 3 or 4 or something like that. And I instantly got really into like Primal play stuff. And then I got into the community and I got more involved in stuff. And I met like one other person, like 1 or 2 other people that like were into Primal play, but like we weren't really compatible play wise. And like also being on the A spectrum, there's also that too. And it got complicated. So I didn't really get to do a lot of Primal play stuff for quite a long time, because I was mostly playing with people that did very like, not by the numbers, but like had a much more like traditional relationship to BDSM that was like very informed by like, you know, watching porn. Like, a lot of people that, especially the first like 5 years of my kink journey, most of the people I played with, their initial interest in BDSM came from exposure to like bondage porn or dungeon porn. And that's not bad, but I think when that's your exposure to it and then you translate that into being in the kink community, that's like very different from like what generally works for me. And so I kind of like did things in the more traditional like kink way, and I just thought, oh well, you know, I'll find people eventually that like to do kink the way that I do, and you know, I'll kind of like get my needs met in these like secondary ways, doing like sensations that I enjoy, and like doing like focusing on like the power exchange service stuff, but then play was maybe something that like I didn't always find as fulfilling, and yada yada. Anyways, long story short, eventually I somehow stumbled my way into by accident, found my way to people that like do kink the way that I like to do it. That's not traditionally represented in the way that people do scenes or like talk about BDSM. And I do like, I like so many different things in kink that I do enjoy like the more kind of wrote by the numbers stuff too. But that's like B+ tier, right? S tier is like, you know, Primal play, improv, weird shit. Okay, that's like, how do I even explain how to do that? Like, I don't know. And I feel this urge to help people who are like me know how to talk about it and find people who are compatible with them and be able to describe to others what they're looking for in a scene. But because it's so high risk and so emotional and mental and takes so many different building blocks to know how to do it well, like I'm like, I don't even know like where I begin with that. Like I don't think in a YouTube video I can do it, which is why I'm making a more like systematized class for engaging in Primal play that hopefully gives people more of the building blocks to get to what that looks like for them. But like finding people in the community that play that way, because even within like I've been to, I don't know, at this point, like a half dozen different like Primal play classes, meetup groups, discussion groups, munches, all of that stuff. And like I haven't even found like a specific like Primal play group that like really resonates with me, because every single time I'm going to be so I so hope this like oh wow, I was so wrong. I thought Evie's thing was Victorian tea. Well, I like the contrast. I like both like service high protocol and Primal play. And I have like some fucking old heads will know. Evie Lupine old heads will know. I have a I don't even know if it's live. I don't know if it's public on my FetLife anymore. But I knew that, like, within Primal Play, this gets into sort of the disagreements I've had with, like, Primal Play meetup groups about not feeling represented at them, is, like, I like the dynamic of, like, a power exchange relationship that exists within, like, a natural animalistic hierarchy. Like, it's the fusion between those two things, like not to be all, like, alpha and beta, but, like, kind of that, basically. I don't think about it in those terms. I don't find those terms to be appealing, but, like, as an example, like, anytime you have like a herd dynamic or like a pack dynamic where there's like a clear leader and a follower, but like the leader and the follower are also like life partners, like that's the intersection I want, where like you like groom each other and like take care of the nest together, but then you like also fight sometimes. Like, that's the dynamic. And that's really fucking weird. Like, most people are not into that. And most Primal Play groups, every single one I have been to, is focused around one-on-one sparring. And I'm like, I don't care about that. I like wrestling is fun, but if it's not, and this is maybe the ace spectrum poking out here, I don't know, but as somebody who's very romantically motivated, the idea of like randomly wrestling someone is like not fun. And if I want to roughhouse with people, I will be in a mosh and I will do it in like a puppy play context because that's like fun and safe for me. But yeah, it's like I've been to a lot of like Primal Play stuff where they're like, oh yeah, like I've literally been to ones where they say that like power exchange like cannot exist on Primal Play. Like that it's antithetical to Primal Play, and like if you're doing power exchange, it can't be Primal Play. And I'm like, damn, okay then. Guess I've just been doing this wrong for like half a decade. Oopsie. Oopsie doopsie, my bad. But yeah, it's complicated. It's just I've heard a lot like it's very like wrestling, rough body play focused, and like it's either that or like, and again, this is me, I'm like, I genuinely do not mean any shade by this, but this is like how those are not my people, is like people who talk about how they want to like this happened. This is not even a specific example I'm giving, I swear to God. I've heard this like in 3 different conversations, all involving like Primal Play groups, okay? But like somebody will say something about like being frustrated in a library because they're waiting in line, and then like growling at the person in front of them because they're not moving fast enough through like the library self-checkout, and then being like, yeah, I just like my primal side is so strong, I just have to let it out sometimes. And I'm like, the cringe. I don't cringe it a lot, but that makes me cringe. That does give me the ick. And then no one will say anything about it. And I'm like, I guess we shouldn't yuck people's yum. But also, we're hearing people openly talk about, like, it's not a crime to be weird in public, but I do feel like scaring people in public is a problem. You know what I mean? Like, if it's like, oh, I'm wearing ears and a tail in public, okay. But if you're like a grown adult, like barking or like growling at somebody in public, like that is probably going to make people afraid. And like, we probably shouldn't do that because it's not conscientious, right? Like, I don't know. So Primal Play gatekeeping is a thing. Mind blown. Oh, it is. But the thing is people say that and they don't realize that they're gatekeeping because they think that everyone already agrees with them. And I've heard this happen so many times with all different kinks. Y'all, please be, even when you're with a group of friends, be so careful about the jokes you make about other people's kinks or fetishes. Because I know for sure I have been in a group of friends where in private, there's like 10 of us or whatever hanging out. Somebody will make a joke about a kink that I know somebody in the group has, but that other people in the group don't know that person has that kink, and they'll make fun of it. Like they'll say something really judgmental about like people who have foot fetishes, or what are the popular ones that people make fun of? Honestly, usually it's like fetish stuff that's like ABDLs, feet, like male submissives in general. like breeding kinks, like anything that's like in the BDSM community, but it's kind of like more on the outskirts that people like don't think is like kinky enough. People will like make rude, derogatory comments about it and like not realize that like actually there's people in your friend group that have that kink, but they just haven't told you yet because they think that you're a hater, and they're right. Like, that's so demoralizing, because I know, like, I see the other side of that too. Like, I know that I have people like in this chat and like, you know, again in my life that they have that experience, and they're like, oh yeah, I was hanging out with so and so, and like I've been really enjoying getting to know them, and then like they didn't know that I'm an ABDL, and then they said something really mean about like adult babies, and like now I can't ever like, now I don't know if I should be friends with them anymore, because like they probably hate me, and it's like, oh, that's like so sad. Like makes me so sad when that happens. Ooh. Inside you there are two wolves, and apparently one of them is a grumpy library goer. Exactly, Rasheen. People always assume I'm into hardcore misogyny just because of the 50s style sexism coding we do. I know. People make so many assumptions. Really upsetting. The most fun thing in the world is to get 5 people in a room and one is a spanko. Just say the word spanking and see whose breath itches a bit. Oh, they should do that for one of those, is it Jubilee who does it? I think it's Jubilee, where they do the, like, 10 real and then, like, 1 fake. And it'll be, like, 10 real Americans and 1 fake American. And then they're blindfolded and they have to, like, guess who's, like, sometimes they're blindfolded, not always. But I think it would be fun to do it blindfolded, where we do, like, 10 spankos and 1 fake spanko. I would sponsor that. That would be so funny. I would love to see that. I only know how to pronounce, to be fair, I only know how to pronounce that name correctly because I watch British TV. I only know how to pronounce that because there's one of the comedy panelists that's a frequent guest on, I think it's 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, has that same name. I do try, though. Yeah, and then people online think they have a license to degrade me. That too. People are just like, oh, are you submissive? Well, guess what? I'm about to degrade you, and you'll like it. Just excuse me while I vomit. Just see who dips their food into a condiment to find the American we love it. Wait, what? Wait, but British people do that too, right? Because they have like, well, I guess when you go to a fish and chips shop and you get like malt vinegar, do you just shake the malt vinegar or the whatever sauce you put on that stuff? I don't know. Do you just toss it all over and then you have to like pick up the fries that are already soggy at like the end with your fingers on like the soggy end of the fry? That seems like a disaster waiting to happen. I'm so sick of being called a raisin. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Oh, that sucks. Oh no. I'm like so sorry. I'm so sorry to anyone who like has a screen name that's if you have any kind, especially if you're in an American's chat, I'm so sorry. If you have any kind of like diacritical or like an accent mark, it's just over. Like we just can't do it. Our brain shut down. I'm sorry. The UK has brown sauce as a, oh yeah, they do. I forgot about that. Wow, that left my brain instantly as soon as I left the UK. As a condiment, even though I visited there, I never found out what it was. I found out what it was because I think one time we were at a hotel and we got room service. I think it was one of the last days we were there. And we ordered something that had chips with it, right? And they gave you a little, it was like a little, like a square dish, like where you put like jellies in. Like if you're an American, you go to a restaurant where you get different flavors of jelly to put on your toast. It was like that, but instead it had like 8 different sauce packets. And it was like it was a bunch of different Heinz sauces, one of which was brown sauce. And I'm like, I think this is like a gravy? Don't know, honestly. Not sure. Picking up soggy fries is worth it for the yummy taste of malt vinegar and salt. Counterpoint, What if you have a little paper cut on your fingy and you have to pick up the I said that, and the second I said it, as soon as I said the word fingy, I was like, wait, this is a scene? Somebody, your partner has a paper cut and you would like to torture them. You give them a nice little treat, which is malt vinegar chips, and then you make them pick up the chips with their paper cut finger hands. And then they get to enjoy a nice treat, but also it burns every single time they eat it. Brown sauce is basically tamarind ketchup instead of tomato ketchup. It's great. Oh, yeah. Now that you say that, it did have like a tamarind flavor to it, which I found very confusing because I was expecting a gravy flavor. And I was like, what? I don't even know what I would normally pair it with. I don't know. Like, do you normally have it with chips? Is that the traditional thing one has brown sauce with? I'm all for tamarind. I think it's a great flavor. It just was very... Whoa. Your girl has a sodium deficit due to Spyro. I will take the risk of paper cut paint. True. Spironolactone. It does do that. But actually, wait. Okay. So I know someone who has told me, and you have to tell me if this wisdom is true, who has told me that trans women and cis women often enjoy pickles, and like women disproportionately enjoy pickles, and it's because we need more sodium. And I'm wondering if that's why. Like, that's the connection. Is the sodium because of the various differences in hormones that occur as a woman? Is that why? That would make sense to me. One of the cravings you can get is for salt. Malt vinegar is best when it's actually trying to hurt you. A good vinegar chip or crisp should have an attitude. That is correct. Oh, poutine. Yeah. Re-stress positions, holding pennies against the wall with your elbows for an unknown duration is terrible. Or with the nose. Fingertips, you can definitely do that all different ways. Holding ice cubes, also a good one as well. Pickles are great. I love pickles. I love pickles. I love olives. Those are my faves. Ride or die for a good pickle. And pickles is definitely a trans thing. Okay. Oh my god, I ate a whole jar in one sitting. I could not do that. I'd have to, like, I kind of ration my pickles because I don't buy them very often. My favorite pickles are a recent find the last couple months. I don't know if it's Grios or it's Grillos. I'm not sure the origin of the name, so I don't know if it's what the deal is. But the Grillos pickles are the best. The ones that have like the floating herbs in them, those are the bomb.com. Those are so good. It's so good that I brought back saying the bomb.com, like it's 2006, to describe these pickles. But they're spendy, and so I don't buy them very often, so I ration them and I have like one at a time. And they're very good. My least favorite aspect of a pickle is when the middle part is soggy. Like the seedy part of a pickle, if that's like really soft, I have to cut it out. I don't do that with like tomatoes or anything else. The only vegetable that I'm picky about texture with is a pickle. And if the middle part of the pickle is too soft, I will scrape it off. I've been doubling the salt in my normal meals and the triple pickles. It's true. I don't think I've ever had a Clausen's pickle before. Oh my god, I did not mean to make you picture pickle, Rick. Oh dear. I'm definitely a kosher dill. I'm a kosher or a half sour. I'm bread and butter is okay occasionally, maybe diced up in like a tuna salad, but not like a tuna salad, but like if you're mixing tuna to put in a sandwich, if I only have bread and butter pickles, I will do it with that. But I just didn't grow up eating them, so they're not my favorite. Ooh, a little Psycho Salad update. Remember the Dom I was going to speak to last week? It was a success. So much good news, a little time. Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations, Psycho Salad. I'm so stoked for you. I'm so glad it went well. We love a positive update. You'd like to know my opinion about anal. What about it? It's an activity that people do. You can do it regardless of your sexual orientation. Receiving something up the butt doesn't make you gay. That's about it. Like, what? I don't know what else. I answered that one because the answer is very quick. I don't know. It's an activity. What do you want? I don't have any. If you want to mine for my personal opinions about my favorite sexual activities, I'm not going to talk about it in this live stream. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Every time a dom and sub connect, an angel gets their wings. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happens. It's so beautiful. I opened up about specific kinks for the first time. Oh, congratulations. Yeah, everyone's got a butt. That lives rent-free in my brain. Lacey Green saying everyone's got a butt in her video on anal, like that's permanently in there. I will be like 85 years old. I will have dementia and I will still remember Lacey Green saying everyone's got a butt. Like, it'll just be stuck in there somewhere. Also, if you want to switch things up from pickles, banana peppers. Oh, banana pepper is so good. Every single time I go to Subway, honestly, most times I make a salad. I love pepperoncinis. My family always called them peppercinis, but my family is a bunch of hicks, so I'm not confident that they said it correctly. But they said peppercinis. I don't think that's what they are. But banana peppers and peppercinis, whatever the fuck they are. Also, I get them on, that's my go-to pizza topping. My go-to pizza toppings, and I'm so sorry for this, I'm about to disappoint people, are mushrooms, banana peppers, pineapple, and then it depends on maybe like a red, if they got like a sweet red pepper, put that on there. And then if I'm making it at home, I will put other things on there. Sometimes I'll do olives. I feel like normally black olives on like a to-go pizza are like kind of disappointing, and usually it's not worth it. If it's like $1 for fucking black olives on a pizza, I'm not going to add it because it doesn't provide that much. But those three are like the go-to, like the go-to for sure. I also do love my favorite pizza ever that I've ever had in my whole life is from a vegan pizza place in Seattle. I don't even know if they're still around anymore. I don't recall the name of it, but if you guys look for this, you'll probably be able to find it. My favorite pizza ever is a vegan buffalo chicken pizza. And it's just what it sounds like. Yeah, I think you can get it with ranch or blue cheese. It's like vegan blue cheese, soy curls, like buffalo sauce, like spring onions. I think there were maybe some other vegetables on there. Oh my god, that was so good. It was like 2 of my favorite meals put together. How could you not love it, honestly? If that pronunciation is a hick thing, then I'm also a hick. Banana peppers are really good. Love them on sandwiches. Evie, you had me except for the pineapple. I know pineapple's controversial. In my defense, I grew up eating pineapple on pizza, and I had no idea it was so controversial. It's good, though. I like it. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. I guess that sounds more proper Italian. That's my joking way of saying Italian. Pineapple and bacon is the very best. Olives are the devil, though. Pickle pizza is good. Oh, I've had a couple. I did have recently, there's a really good pizza place here in Portland that's called Boxcar Pizza, and they do like Detroit-style pizza. And I had a pizza from them. I don't remember which one it was. It had a weird name, so I don't remember. It wasn't related to the toppings on it specifically. But it was... Maybe it was like Nashville hot chicken, like vegan Nashville hot chicken pizza. And it had pickles on it, but it was so salty. Like it was way too salty. Like not the crust, but the toppings were too salty. And it made it like the pickles were really salty. And I was like, what the fuck? It was really weird. I'll have to let them know that. They subjected me to abuse by putting pineapple on your pizza growing up. I know, it was one of those like, oh, but that's the kind of pizza my dad eats, and so I want to have that pizza too, so like I'm a grown-up and I don't eat cheese pizza. Like it was like one of those things, you know? But anyways, those are my pizza opinions. Just in case. I love buffalo anything. So honestly, a source, awesome Italian partner. Good to know. Thank you for relaying. It might stick in my brain, but it has 25 years of programming to overcome. Yeah, sweet red pepper chunks. Yeah. Yeah, not green. Definitely no green peppers. Green chilies, fine. Not on pizza. Sweet red peppers on pizza, yes. If I'm at home, I will do very finely diced like bell peppers, but I don't like ordering bell peppers on to-go pizza because normally they give you really big strips or they only give you a little bit and it's not worth it because I can go to the grocery store and get 3 bell peppers for like $2 and I'm not paying $8 for a quarter of 1 bell pepper on a pizza. Sorry, it's not happening. Have you watched the Special Forces reality show? They do a torture simulation with hoods, blindfolds, stress positions, making people listen to babies crying on the loop. Oh dear. I have not seen that. The only thing I have seen that's remotely close to that is it's not a reality show where they make people do Special Forces training, but they follow soldiers going through like sapper school, Special Forces, SEALs training. Is literally following the process of a class of potential new SEAL sappers, etc., through their training process. And like people getting eliminated and doing all the challenges. But I suspect that what you're talking about is not that. It's a live stream where she can pivot from random anal to pizza in a quarter of a second. Listen, I would not be a live streamer if I couldn't pivot from anal to pizza. What is my life, y'all? What is my life, truly? Love a good minestrone. Love it. That was my favorite soup as a kid. I feel like that's really weird. I feel like minestrone should not be the favorite soup of a child. But that was my favorite soup as a kid. I love the minestrone. It was so good. Okay. All right, let's get back to some questions, shall we? Oh, I also got a private lap dance from a pole dancer and asked her to be more dominant. I told her it was my first time. She didn't believe me. Oh, well, hopefully you got a good experience out of that. I only know the opposite side of that equation. I know quite a people who used to be used to dance in clubs that did VIP, but I don't know if I've ever heard them specifically talk about what has happened if somebody asked them to be dominant during a VIP. But hopefully it was a fun time. That's definitely one way of exploring that. My favorite soup as a kid was Italian wedding, so you're good. You did miss the discourse on banana peppers. You did. Much to your chagrin, I'm sure. From anal to pizza, my life as a Kink content creator. That'll be my tombstone. That'll be my epitaph. All right. Yes. Let's look at some questions. Hopefully everyone's doing okay, despite my complete utter randomness at this moment in time. No date night. It's dress weather, baby. Been up for ages and slept a bit already. Won't be able to hang around long. And it's the clock struck past the hour, so I'll at least say hi. Health flare, but recovered today. Oh, hopefully you're doing okay. Caitlin, got some rest over the weekend. I think about conventions. It's about what you enjoy. You can't do all of the things. Don't get overwhelmed by all the hot people and things going on. Very true. It's very easy to get overwhelmed and get like scene envy, dress envy. Just be there for you, you know? Have you seen the brand Forest Inc? I think you like their clothes. Yes. I have one of their skirts, I believe. It's like an M. It's like a maxi length, like an M skirt. It's really cute. I think, is it Angela Bennett? I think recently did a haul video for Forest Inc clothing and like tried on some stuff. I was looking at one of their swimsuits potentially for this year because I have bikinis, but I don't have a one piece anymore because it got ruined by like chemicals in a hot tub. And then I tried to re-dye it and it worked really well, but then ended up losing the color again, and I was like, well, fuck it, I should just like get a different swimsuit then. I'm not going to re-dye it a third time. But yeah, I have heard good things about them. I haven't bought too much from them. I like some of their styles, but they're not like, there's not been anything that like really grabs my attention that's like, ooh, I really want that. But I definitely follow them to keep track of new releases to see if anything comes out that I'm really into the idea of, especially because these days I mostly buy used clothing. I very rarely buy new clothing. Tried using Icy Hot in a scene last weekend for sensation play. Fun, but smells horrible. Any suggestions on a similar substance that does not smell like bad wintergreen lifesavers? Okay, so you want something without the mint component to it. Without the mint component. Tiger Balm is the first thing that comes to mind. Does that have a mint, or is that just the pepper? Does that have... I don't have any on me. You can also get like CBD balm that has like pepper in it. All right, let's look at this. I'm going to the Tiger Balm website to assure myself that I am not leading you astray. Okay, that's the Ultra Strength has camphor and menthol in it. It could also be the camphor too. Some people don't like the smell of that. It can smell kind of like churchy, I think, to some people. Look at what the regular degular is here. Where is... I'm just looking for the regular. I don't want the extra strength. Just show me the regular one. I would say Tiger Balm is less pungent than Icy Hot is. I feel like Icy Hot is like intentionally smells really strong. Like, I don't know if that's like part of why they do that. Yeah, okay. No, it's just still... Okay, there's one other thing too. Where is that from? What am I... There's a place here in Oregon I know that like makes like soap making stuff that like has a muscle rub. That doesn't have like the wintergreen element of it. But I would look for like a capsaicin. I would look for something that just has capsaicin in it. I would not... I think that's probably what's causing the strong scent issues. I thought it was like Essentials Wholesale or something like that. Oh, I found it. Okay, it's Essential Labs. They changed the name. Yeah, Performance. Yeah, let's go Essential Muscle Care. Yeah, okay. There's muscle rub and there's muscle gel. Is this what I'm thinking of? Is this the right thing? Oh, it does have menthol in it. Oh, but it doesn't. And that one has peppermint in it too. Okay, I guess they all do have menthol in them, but I don't think this one smells very strong. Yeah, I'd probably look for just a capsaicin. I mean, if you really want to be a little wild with it, if you wanted to make your own, technically, it is relatively easy to make your own DIY like lotion balm, like especially a hard lotion. That's relatively easy to make, and you can get capsaicin extract. You can just buy it. Ginger extract also potentially would work as well. I don't know if they stock it anymore. Yeah, you have to look around for it, but that would be what I would look at. Etsy would probably be my place to go. Etsy, or if you have a farmer's market, I would look for one. Because if you're at a farmer's market too, you can smell it in person before you buy it. If Icy Hot reminds you of mint with body odor, I just tried peppermint oil. It can be diluted with other oils. Yeah, fair enough. I've always been a switch, but have been exclusively sub for 2 years. This Saturday, I start my journey as a top. Oh, okay. Wish me luck and well as any suggestions. Well, congratulations, Sean. That's super exciting. Good luck. I hope that goes well for you. Are you playing with a specific person? Are you going to a party to like just wander around as a top to see if you get any bites? I would love to give you suggestions without knowing where you're starting from. I don't know what kind of advice to give you exactly. If this is getting into a role in a headspace with a new person, or like projecting like Domly energy in like a social environment, or like what direction we're trying to go in. Because I think especially if you're in a social setting where people know you as a submissive, it can be really hard to break that mold and be like, actually, I'm a switch. Actually, I'm a top. The bandita moved. I didn't even notice. She was so sneaky. Biofreeze isn't very pungent. Oh, yeah, Biofreeze. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I've seen that at like physical therapist offices. Yeah. Good point. All right, I'm going back over to some more questions. I'll keep an eye on in case I hear anything from Sean about that question, and we will get to other things. Okay, all right. Getting into some other stuff. We have Teledoc, which used to be $25, but now it counts as a full office visit. $225. Oh goodness, that's very expensive. Just use Google at that point, honestly. Just take your chances and use Google. I'm attending our newbie party that we have every month. My community knew from the start. Okay, that's good at least. I mean, yeah, if you're going to a party and you want to embrace your top side, I think it's about dressing the part. It's about looking the part. I'm not saying you should have a flogger hanging off a carabiner or anything. Some people do that. I don't think that looks particularly nice, but some people dress that way, and that's fine. But like, wear stuff that makes you feel like dominant. Usually that means like more clothing, layers. Usually if you're presenting masculine, you're gonna get the most bang for your buck out of like nice pair of boots, dark pair of jeans, nice leather belt if you have one, black shirt, or some other kind of thing maybe that represents your kink interest. It could be like a cutesy little like t-shirt with a kink reference on it. It could be something that's just like plain black. You got different options, but I think that's probably the standard way to go. Which I feel like honestly with masculine people, the only real difference between that and like how like male subs dress is like, I feel like I know more male subs who show up wearing like button-ups and like a collar. So maybe if you're not wearing a collar, that'll just do the work for you. Because honestly, if you present masculine, if you're in a space with new people who don't know you yet, if you're not wearing a collar, most people are just going to assume that you're top. Just because especially if you're in a het space, if it's more of a queer focused community, that might be different. But if you're in a het space, people are like, oh, masculine, you must be a top. To the point that it can be difficult to fight the other way. How do you get Kegel muscle tension back during perimenopause? I'd recommend visiting a physical therapist that specializes in pelvic floor therapy. I know many people that have found that to be very useful. Sometimes it's advertised as being like a birth-related thing, but you don't need to have like a prolapse or have any sort of like pregnancy-related issues to go to a pelvic floor therapist. I think that would be really helpful. That's probably where I would start, which I know can be expensive without insurance, but if it is in your insurance, it could be like $30. So, and they're usually very good about, they're not going to have you forever as a client. Usually physical therapist offices are like, they're going to give you homework every week. They're going to see you once a week, and they want you in and out in like under 12 weeks, ideally. Like they want you to be like done. I recommend buying a leather wrist strap or cuff. I find that adds to my dom energy. Ooh, that's a really good suggestion. You're right. Yeah. Like a good, it could be a pair, it could be one. Yeah. You can even get the ones that are like it goes from like a bracelet to like a pair of quick cuffs or something. I've seen those too. That's a really good one. Yeah. Unfortunately, being a Switch can be its own curse. It really can be. It really can be. Because even though people are like, oh, Switches are valid, Switches are real, people are fucking confused. I'll tell you that. They still get confused. My girlfriend and I do mommy hyena and baby hyena CGL, which I haven't seen very often. That is so funny, and I love it. I love the creativity. I am very pro this. I love that. 10 out of 10, perfect marks, no notes. That is fantastic. I can see it right now. I can picture it. I had a British partner. She always picked on me for dipping my food. That's the superior way. Listen, this is how you know. This is maybe the most American thing I can think of possibly doing. But not that I have pasta very often, but when I have ravioli, I dip my ravioli in the red sauce. I do not put marinara over my ravioli. And this is why. Because it's so easy to get way too much sauce. Dipping is the only way to control the sauce amount you get on each piece. Which maybe is like way over controlling for a fucking piece of ravioli. But too many negative experiences with like ravioli, just way too much. The sauce to pasta ratio was way off, okay? Way off. I'm there for the experience of the pasta, not the sauce with pasta in it. Oh, a new subject for willing. I've long thought that stress positions are a very underrated form of punishment. Curious if you have any experience with stress positions or any favorite positions. Especially as a punishment, it's hard to say favorite. But yes, I do have experience with this. I like playing with stress positions and like stressful bondage in general. I typically don't do it for like a punishment in a power exchange sense. It's pretty... Have I ever done it as like a punishment? I've like when it comes to in a kink context, yeah, it's always been just for scenes, not for actual punishment. Which generally has been, this is what I think is an underrated stress position, all right? Wall sits. Did I just bring up any core memories for anyone who did soccer as a child? You did soccer or football or anything? Yeah, you probably had to do wall sits. Yeah, that's a good one. That's easy. You don't have to have any equipment, no bondage, just you and a flat. It could be a wall. Could technically even be a piece of furniture, right? It could be a dresser. It doesn't have to be a wall. Most people have walls, though, so that's like, it's a good one to do. That's a really, really easy one that I think a lot of people can do. There's some ones that involve like bending over where your knees are slightly bent and then you put your chest to the top of your legs while your legs are bent and then you have to like fold over forward. Those are really, really stressful. I think probably my favorite variant though is like having to hold your hands out with like holding ice cubes or something. Like holding anything, but like having your hands out and like holding ice cubes or like holding something like uncomfortable or like an unpleasant sensation. It could be like something that's like cold and melting. It could be like warm. It could be like a thing that like dries out and gets kind of like pasty, like when it dries. Like it could be anything. Get creative, use your imagination. It could even be like, I'm going to put 2 pieces of Play-Doh in each one of your palms and you're not allowed to play with it, right? That could also happen too. It doesn't have to just be like, medieval torture. It could also be silly and like maybe more like little friendly perhaps. This is such an autistic conversation, the ravioli one. I mean, I did recently put it together that my biological grandfather definitely is autistic, so it's like, I'm nuts. I've taken several different autism spectrum tests, and I've never scored anywhere near the threshold for any level of autism, but I am neurodivergent, so there's like flavors that overlap there. Oh, yeah. All sorts of fun if the sub has to balance to avoid putting stress in naughty places. If it's a sexual dynamic, then there's furniture play. Oh, yeah, that too as well. Wall sits are torturous, oh my lord. Well, that's what they wanted, so there you go. Yeah. Oh, planking. Yeah, planking. Yeah, but they have to do planking correctly, because if their core isn't engaged and they're just like fucking like a banana, then it's not gonna work, right? You have to like correct their form and like keep them in that position to like do a plank. Just lying down and not having your head touch the ground stressful. Oh, that's a good one too, where it's like, oh, it's so easy, you're just lying on the ground, you're not even doing anything. That's easy, right? Oh, you have to keep your head up. Oh, sorry, is that hard, baby? Like, that could definitely be. They could definitely have a CGL, ABDL flavor to it for sure. As long as they keep your core engaged, that's the main thing. But that's probably my. There's also there's the bondage classics, right? There's like an Ebby, like a shrimp pose, done that one a couple times. That one's not really my favorite. I've had that one put like. I just felt it in the back of my neck when I talked about it. I've had that one put like an uncomfortable amount of pressure on like the back of my neck, like to the point where I felt it after the scene for a while, and like that was not something that I necessarily like in the scene. Like I'm fine with discomfort in the scene. If I have like neck pain that affects my ability to like sleep for like a couple of days afterwards, like it's not for me. Not my thing personally. Fucking magnets, how do they work? That's a question I ask myself all the time. I'm like, electricity, how does this work? Magnets, how do they work? I understand magnets more than I understand electricity, but also I feel like somehow magnets and electricity must be related. I can't describe why I think that. Polarity? I don't know. If you ask me how to explain how a circuit board works, I'd be like, give me 2 months. Give me a while, I don't know. It's all magic to me. That would be like, I think that would be, for me, if I was going to do a humiliation scene for myself, it would probably be something involving like a physics lecture. It would probably be one of my partners, because they all know way more about building shit and electricity and fucking computers and whatever than I do. It would be one of them coming up with like a lecture and then like a pop quiz, closed book pop quiz on having to explain how a circuit board works. Or like the various qualities of like different types of adhesive, or like something like that, where I would just be like, honestly, you could just hand me a power tool and then be like, do this, it's really simple. And then I'd have to be by myself, I'd have to cry for 5 minutes, and then I could maybe do it if nobody was looking at me. Then that would be a humiliation scene. Yes, electromagnetism is something. Oh, okay, duh. They both generate fields of influence. Okay. Magnets, electricity are related by Maxwell's equations. They are the same force. I mean, I guess I feel a little smart that I at least intuited that they were related. I should have known that with the kinds of people that are in my chat that like a bunch of people would know. Doing a physics lecture and zapping you every time you get a wrong answer. Oh, yeah. Hooking me up to like a tens unit or something, and then like doing a... But the thing is, I'm really good at taking notes, though. So like I think it'd have to be like a quiz. Because if it was just like, what was the thing I just said? If I could take notes, I would definitely get it. But if it was like you don't know anything, here's a quiz, and I just have to answer it based on what's already in my head, and then maybe like a cheat sheet that has like different equation formulas in it, good luck. For effort, thank you. No multiple choice, a 2,000 word essay. That would wouldn't be a problem for me. I write 2,000 word essays like 2 times a week. That's nothing. I got that in the bag. But that's me though. Making me write an essay is not torture. It's torture for you. That's the thing. If I have to write an essay, it's torture for the people that I'm now forcibly making read my thoughts. Because it's like, I generally speaking am the verbal one of the group. And so that means if I can have an opportunity to make somebody engage with the written word of a thing that I've said, that's not a punishment, that's a privilege. A motor is just a magnet and a bunch of wire. Spinning the magnet makes electricity. Putting electricity through the wire, spinning magnet. Wait, is that how car motors work? Is that how car motors work? Is that they're just a magnet and a bunch of wires? Is that why in a junkyard, or is that related? Is that why in a junkyard you can pick up cars with a giant magnet? It's because there's other magnets already inside the car. I don't want to define stator and rotor. I'm sleep deprived. I don't know if that's accurate. That is how EV motors work. Oh, car motors are totally different, but it is how EV motors work. Okay. Okay. Lobster sticks to magnet. Yeah. Oh, the magnet is in the junkyard because of the steel frame. At least you guys know I'm not lying about not knowing anything about cars or electricity. Like, I have a whole bachelor's degree, okay? I'm not stupid. I have a degree in a STEM field. It just never involved physics. Oh, God. Like, I promise, I've been in a lab. I've done field work. Like, I've done science. I just don't know anything about physics. Oh my god. I hope this is entertaining you guys as much as it's entertaining me. I did not have edibles. I did not. This is just what my brain is like. Oh god. Thank you, Twixie. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Have you seen this study on male squirting from a Japanese university? Why do you think think kink is a bit more mainstream in Japan? Oh, a question from Henry. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna briefly leave the internal combustion engine related conversation to discuss this Japanese study on kink. I've not read the study. I don't know what male squirting is. I'm assuming that means people who are born with a penis. Like ejaculation without orgasm? Because squirting... So is it just bladder fluid without any like semen involved? Without any sperm? Like, I'll Google that later, but I don't know off the top of my head, and now I'm curious. As for the second part, which is why do you think kink is a bit more mainstream in Japan, is the short answer... What's a diamond doesn't have physics? The kind where I very specifically designed my like path of required courses to where I skipped all the ones that involved physics and I took alternative courses instead that were on the thing. Yeah. But I'll let y'all noodle on that one. Also, I imagine what what university you go to, what their requirements are. So my short answer for why I think Japan has more open acceptance of kink is in America, and even in Europe too, but especially in America, part of the reason we are so kink negative is because we are very broadly like sex negative in general. And that's because our culture is based on Puritanism and religious fundamentalism, and that involves a lot of restrictions around what is considered to be proper sexuality. Whereas in Japan, there were not the same kinds of religious prohibitions on sex or premarital sex or the ways that people had sex compared to the West. However, obviously that changed and influenced a bit when you get to like, the occupation of Japan and, more recent history and like media censorship. There's like peculiarities with that where it's both more open and more closed at the same time, where like kink, I think, is something that is more openly accepted, but I also don't know if it's like as talked about as much. Like there's less of a subculture around it as well. I think maybe because it's like more open in the sexual context. I actually have an interview on my channel with an adult film star who, she's from the West, but she lives in Japan, named June Lovejoy. If you go watch the interview that I did with her, we talk about sexuality in Japan quite a bit. And like she talks about that in general on her channel as well, if you haven't seen her videos before too. And that's my explanation, is essentially you didn't have Christian Puritanism and all of the associated baggage that came with that. I mean, of course, there were, still cultural prohibitions around sex in certain ways, just not to the extent or the way that we had it here. Usually based on prostate play or glands overstimulation based on the study. Oh yeah, like if it's stimulating the prostate, that's probably like prostate fluid. Okay. Oh, okay. I'll have to read it. That's interesting. Did you see my second super chat? Did I? Did I miss it? I'll double check. Let me see. Oh, I did miss it. I probably was laughing looking at the floor. I'm sorry. I'm going for a black shirt, boots, and a kilt. Our newbie parties have practice bottoms for new tops. Oh, that's great. Okay, perfect. Kilt, fantastic. That'll do you wonders. I approved. Only thing I can think of would just be personal style flares. If you like jewelry, if you like fishnets, if that's your vibe. Layering is always a good thing. Or I think what the person suggested around some kind of like wrist strap or bracelet is a good one too. Our newbie parties have practice bottoms for new tops is also really cool too. That's like, I mean, that is, I don't know if I've seen a party where there's specifically like approved practice bottoms. Also, sorry. Look at my dog. She is so perfectly snoozy. I would do anything for her. I love her so much. Never seen a sweeter, quieter dog. It's often portrayed in Japanese adult videos as post-orgasm torture of the glands, which causes squirting. Oh, it's a really big genre. Well, I don't even know anything about like regular Western porn, so that's all news to me. Oh, that's why problems with the prostate lead to sexual problems, and that not having a prostate means that ejaculation orgasm is pretty much cut off. Oh. Oh, I guess that's, yeah, they probably, like, I guess if you get bottom surgery, they probably leave the prostate in there, don't they? They don't get rid of that. You just leave that behind. Well, I guess even they probably, I mean, the same thing when you get like a hysterectomy, right? They usually don't get rid of your ovaries if they don't have to, because that's really important. So I guess the prostate is the ovaries of the hormone thing? Okay. Not that I've thoroughly researched. Listen, the prostate has never been a special area of interest for me. I don't really know a lot about the prostate in specific. That's all I got. Oh, it moved. They moved the prostate. Oh, I see. I mean, we're always improving our technology. She's very tranquil. She is. She is the picture of tranquility. I'm not allowed to have mad scientist moments anymore. When I was 7, I decided to mix random chemicals and made mustard gas. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Twixie, I'm going to tell you a story that will make you feel better, okay? I was talking to one of my partners earlier today, and they told me, and this is like the most them thing that is like I've ever heard them say ever. And this will just like give you such a picture in your head. They were telling me that when they were a little kid, they looked at the sun because they thought when adults told them not to look at the sun, they were hiding something. And they thought there was like a really cool secret if you looked at the sun. So I looked at the sun. And I'm like, some things never change. Sometimes you are just contrarian all the way through and you cannot help your damn self. It is the booty button. It is. It truly is. I'm more amused because I'm trying to do a double interpretation of chamber in the Matrix as a metaphor for the womb and prostate fluid. I mean, the Matrix contains nothing if not multitudes. Oh, like they move a lot of the nerve bundles to be where the G-spot would be, then that triggers the prostate. Oh, that's very smart. Well, it seems like we've got some smarty smart pants working over there in the surgery department. Oh, yeah, I just assumed you meant that he had lost it because of leg cancer. I just joined what's up. We're talking about prostates, and I don't even know, to be honest with you. At one point, we were talking about how electricity works, and, well, now we're here. I know there's something good in there. We'll just look real quick. Exactly. Just like the silica packs they said not to eat. What are they hiding? You should eat those right now. No. I should ask them if they ever tried to eat one of the silica packs. They might have. That would they might have. They would have been like, yeah, it's a secret candy the adults don't want me to eat. God. Yeah, that is the ultimate. Silica gel is the original forbidden snack. The original forbidden treat. Big stretch. Aw. That's my favorite thing is when she's like, ooh, and you can hear, if you're with her in real life, you can hear her little joints. Like they pop out a little bit. And I'm like, oh. Lemon combustion engines, yes. Is it ADHD coded when you have 130 people yelling at you at the same time? Or is that just being in the middle of a crowd? I think that's why probably all the best streamers have ADHD is because you have to have a little bit of ADHD to switch modes consistently, like very quickly. Packaging caviar. It's vegan. It's vegan caviar. I swallowed one once when I was 3 years old. They took me to the hospital just like when I was stuck a bead up my nose. Both times they had me just sit in a room for a couple hours and then sent me home. Oh, I just had you under observation. Yeah. Hello, Chan. Welcome. I guess 1 to 3 silica beads isn't a big deal. I feel like I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum of this, whereas for me, when I was a child, the only thing I ever got close to like that was I was a very close rules follower because it never occurred to me I could break the rules. I just thought, well, but that's what you have to do. They're the rules. It's just what the rules tell you what to do, and then you do them. Like, it never occurred to me to ever behave in any different way. But I ate an apple once, and I was like, oh God, maybe it was 4, like 4 or 5, somewhere in there. And I accidentally ate the sticker on the apple. And I freaked out. I was like, but not in like crying, screaming kind of way. Like in a I went to the kids' room, like our playroom, and I just sat on the ground and I just thought, I'm gonna die. I ate a stick on an apple, and now I'm gonna die. And is that, what movie is that from? Is that from Is that from her? Like the meme where like the guy is like standing and like looking at nothing off in the distance, like wistfully in like a pained way. Like that was me. I was like, I'm gonna die because I hate this Apple sticker. And after a while, my parents were like, "What's wrong, honey?" And I was like, "I hate the sticker on the apple." They were like. And they thought they had to restrain their laughter. They were like, "Oh, honey, it's okay." I don't know if this is true or not, but they told me that it was made from the juice of apple, so it was okay that I ate it. I believed them, and that was fine. How did you eat the sticker? Did you not notice it? I don't know. It was a very small sticker, I guess. I don't actually know if I maybe just assumed I ate the sticker because I didn't know where the sticker was. It is entirely possible that I didn't eat the sticker and I just thought that I did. And then I made myself panic because I have anxiety. And then then that happened. I had a bad habit of giving in to peer pressure. My sister once convinced me to hide in a Foot Locker. like a literal Foot Locker or like the shoe store. And she accidentally locked me in. Oh, like a literal Foot Locker. 29 years later, and I still remember my dad being pissed. Oh, I'm sure. Thankfully, the sticker makers do make them safe to eat. Yeah, because they were thinking a little 4-year-old me panicking, thinking about death because she ate a sticker. Oh god, that's one of those core memories where like that is just my personality. That is just me all wrapped up all together. Alrighty, I'll see you later, Lexi. I hate stickers. If I ate one, it would be a core memory. Yeah, accidentally. Yeah, that feels like one of those swallowing watermelon seeds will make them grow in my tummy. It was definitely like that kind of flavor. I think I even thought about that at the time. I was like, well, I watched the Rugrats, and they said if you ate the seeds in the watermelon, that it'll grow watermelon. That freaked me out. I was like, no. But only the black watermelon seeds. Little white ones are okay. It's the black ones you have to be worried about. The little white ones don't count. Anyways, I was the opposite of that in every way. I was like, no, I broke one of the unspoken rules. Now I'm going to die. Luckily, I learned you could break the rules a little bit, and then it was fine. Okay, we are in our 10-minute warning zone. Warning, speak now, forever hold your peace. If you do not ask a question at this point, I will not answer it. Okay. Let's get to some questions. Answer that one already. Do you have any good blindfold game ideas? I really like being blindfolded and spun around. Currently doing pin the tail on the donkey with punishments, but looking for something with more skill involved. I feel like you could play board games with being blindfolded, right? I mean, you could play chess blindfolded, technically, right? If you could just feel where the pieces are at. Connect 4. Tic-tac-toe. Depends on how much you want to actually be able to win at the game. Theoretically, you could be expected to keep track in your head of where pieces are at on the board and then play using the image of the board you have in your head, but that might be too much. What other games are there that you could play blindfolded that would be like requiring some level of skill? They're more like that aren't just like mean to like make you play blindfolded. This isn't really a game, but I think it could be a fun idea. Is like You could play like, this is not like spin the bottle and anything other than the fact there is a bottle being spun. It is not like the normal game, but you spin a bottle and you have a wheel that's like got some kind of, I don't know, either items that are going to be used on you or maybe like verbal descriptions of like a kink activity, and then whatever you spin the bottle and then whatever it lands on is the activity you end up doing. Or like the bondage item you end up wearing, or like toy that ends up being used on you. I feel like that could be really fun if you like surprise and you like randomness. You would have to find some way to like pre-approve this, I guess. Also, we have 10 memberships from Sean. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Thank you for the end of the stream gifted subs. But that would probably be my main one. I feel like the spin the bottle one, it would not be a game in a technical skill way, but it would be a fun idea to do with wearing a blindfold. Ooh, blindfolded Lego build. See who makes what. Yeah, have like a sandcastle building competition, but with Legos and blindfolded. The one game where you have to smack the other person's hands and try not to get your hands back with them. Oh, yeah, yeah. What is that called? Yeah, the playground game. Yeah. I know what you mean. Mm-hmm. Search Minute to Win It. It was a game show with a ton of cheap, easily set up games. Oh, okay. Jax, maybe have them try to pick the. Oh, that's it. What? That's like Victorian child type game playing. Yeah. Have them try to grab the ball and pick up the pieces from the sound alone. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah, because that's sound based. That would work for that. I'm assuming it's concerning because they all have Mormon face. I'm assuming it's concerning that women in Salt Lake are hot is because you kind of know that like they're a little bit more related than maybe they should be. Like there hasn't been enough genetic outcrossing in that population. All right. Have time for a couple more questions here. My Tism salutes the way of handling ravioli while the Jersey in me thinks it's heathen behavior. I mean, I can appreciate the duality of reactions. That's fine. Ooh, I've been seeing this woman long distance as part of my husband and I experimenting with opening up the relationship to some extent. That's exciting. Hope that goes well. Ooh, fancy. New things are happening. Is the traditional thing, and yeah, maybe a bit too blonde. Yeah, anytime you're around like only blonde women, that does have a concerning energy to it. Like either you're in Finland or something really bad has happened. Actually, are the Finns probably maybe, I don't know. Which one of the Scandinavians are the most blonde? Probably Swedes. I feel like Swedes have the reputation of being really blonde. I don't know which. If you looked at the percentages of people who are blonde in each population, I don't know which one of the Nordic countries actually has. I said Scandinavian as a joke because I thought it sounded funny. Which one of the Nordic countries has the most blondes as a percentage of the population, I wonder? I feel like it must be Sweden, but I don't know. I've had a lot of migration, so maybe not. Physics in my field and I'm entertained. I'm glad I could entertain you. Da-da-da. And bows and toes on a cement basement floor. Oh, I don't know about bows and toes. I'm not sure what that is. That sounds painful. Now I'm just in the part of the chat where we're all laughing at me for not knowing about how motors work. Listen, when would I have had if I never took physics and I don't care about cars and I never had anyone teach me, when would I have learned how an internal combustion engine works? I'd have to have gone through several different Wikipedia rabbit holes to figure that one out intuitively on my own. So in case anyone ever thinks I'm smart, just remember electricity is magic to me. All right, we're all chatting about. I definitely missed a lot of questions at the beginning. Evie, quickly, what's your favorite fast, easy meal? Especially a cheat day thing if you do that. Fast and easy meal. Buffalo soy curls. Legitimately, I'm being so serious right now because it's literally you soak the soy curls in hot water. Then you can either pre-buy buffalo sauce, which is easier if you're not vegan, or you make the buffalo sauce, which is hot sauce and some other spices and Worcester and butter, and then you just make that hot, and then you put that over the soy curls, and then usually I'll let that marinate overnight. But sometimes if I want to do it right away, I will air fry it immediately afterwards. And then I do that, and then I just chop up some iceberg lettuce or like whatever green stuff I have laying around, put that on top, and then put some like ranch dressing, blue cheese. Fuck it, I'll do Caesar dressing too. Why not? Any kind of sauce, put it on there. Some kind of white sauce. And then that's like my easy to go if I need to make something very quickly. That's like a cheat day thing. My favorite thing that's like a healthy thing to make that's like quick and easy is lemon chickpeas, which is a thing I have recently discovered, which I realize involves some level of prep work more than the thing I just described, but I feel like it's like still a relatively easy cooking thing because you can get a lot of the stuff you need for it like pre-made. It's half of an onion, couple cloves of garlic, as many as you want. I'm a garlicky girl, so I do like 5 or 6 probably. Get those all sauteed up. Then you do some spices. Get some lemon juice in there. You get some milk in there, coconut milk, whatever you like. Can of rinsed chickpeas. Actually, put the chickpeas in. Cook the veggies first. Then put in the chickpeas. Saute that for like 10 minutes. Then after that's been kind of roasted a little bit, then you put in the milk. Then you simmer that for like about 10 to 15 minutes. And then at the very end, you add lots of citrus. You can do some citrus like seasoning, lemon pepper, like a citrus seasoning when you add the chickpeas. But usually I do more at the very end when I'm serving it, and then you put in a squirt of lemon, like a squirt of lemon juice. You can do fresh lemon too if you want to, but I usually have a bottle of lemon juice. And then you can put it over rice if you have rice around, or you can just eat it by itself. And it's good. It's got protein in it. You could add nutritional yeast if you want to have more protein or more vitamin B12. And there you go. That's easy. Can of beans, half an onion. Cheap as could be, lots of flavor. But it's not the normal, I think, like, chili dog taco like type thing. It's a little bit of a different flavor, a little brighter. All right, here you go. No, I love an air fryer. It's great. Yeah, girl dinner unlocked there. Yeah. No preheat and half the cook time is OP, to be honest, even though it needs more flipping. Yeah. It really is. Air fry. Sometimes I have trouble getting it, especially if directions don't have air fry recipe directions on them. It can be difficult to not overcook things because my air fryer has a tendency to, even among other air fryers, like seemingly cook things like a little too hot, a little too quickly compared to what directions say. So I always like underdo it on the settings for cooking. All right, one more question. Who will it be? Who will be the final question of the evening? We will find out. You can also add kale. I added kale to this as well. You add kale, add spinach, cauliflower, tomatoes, diced up peppers. You could flesh it out quite a bit if you wanted to, but that's just like the most basic version of it. Blonde uniformity is concerning. Using jumper cables on someone's testicles. They do you need a car engine? Well, I would never do that, so no. Cannot imagine the thing I would want to do less than whatever that is. Oh, did I miss a question? God, I wish I could do the thing that Twitch lets me do and see everyone's chats. When I scroll through the chat really fast looking for questions, sometimes I will miss stuff. I don't see the question. I see a question from Cedar. That's the one. Wait, let me. No, I can't see. Oh, wait, I can see. Wait. Oh, wait, they do. They have the feature now. Wait, I can look. Okay, I've got it. I asked earlier to receive the same advice in chat, but I ask you to see if you have any tips for reconnecting with your body after long-term orgasm denial. Oh, that is a good question. So I'm assuming that means, like, in some extent, learning how to be able to be comfortable with orgasm again. And this is not medical advice, but there is a technique that, especially if you have a partner, you can do this with. You can also do some of it solo too, but it's meant to be done originally with a partner. There's a technique from sex therapy that's called sensate focus. And I'll put the name in the chat because I found the question. Oh, I can look at people's chat history now. Now I can know who's a troll or not definitively. Thanks for that one, YouTube. Sensate focus is the name of it. And there's like a couple different universities have, like, I found like PDF guides and like packet information how to do that. But the book that talks about this doesn't call it sensate focus by name, but the techniques for it are in this book. Is called Hot and Unbothered, which I feel like focus. Eh? I changed the focus setting, so maybe it won't actually focus on like things that are on my face now. There we go. How to think about, talk about, and have the sex you really want. There's, as you can see, I've bookmarked it quite a bit, so I don't know exactly which part it's in from the top of my head, but I know the process of sensate focus is described in here. And that is found to be very efficacious scientifically as a way to connect to your body and learn how to better understand what sensations you find pleasurable and then expand on them in a non-judgmental way where the point of it is not to get to orgasm or even to be aroused, just to find what you find like interesting and like things that, to borrow a phrase, feel moreish. But not with food, with sensation. No, not sensate. Sensate focus, yes. Different thing. That would be... I don't even know how that crossover would work. Yeah. What is the best brunch meal? Oh, God, that so depends on the mood. That so depends on the mood. There are some days where I wake up and at like 1 p.m. I do just want a bagel and cream cheese, and that is the only thing that will satisfy that need is a bagel and cream cheese. I don't have brunch that often. Gotta have a mimosa. Definitely gotta have a mimosa in there. Probably, like, I feel like this is like boring, but probably some kind of Ooh, actually, never mind. I just pictured it. I haven't thought about this forever. A breakfast like potato hash. Like a breakfast potato hash with the home style like fried potatoes, and then like cheese, maybe a different second kind of potatoes, like it has some hash browns in there, some veggies, lots of like sausage, good protein, like a cheese sauce, some kind of creamy sauce over the top, some kind of hot sauce maybe. I feel like that's peak. And then if I have a hankering for pancakes, it's probably pancakes. But by default, breakfast hash. Before I was vegan, probably something with a poached egg. My go-to probably before that would have been like Eggs Benedict. But they don't have good running yolk technology for veganism yet. Like I've seen, I haven't bought it yet. I know you can get poached eggs, like vegan poached eggs that are supposed to be runny, but I've never tried them before. It's a good question, though. Welcome to the Evie Lupine live stream, where we talk about male ejaculation, what is the superior brunch meal, and how alternators work. Oh, goodness. Okay. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm hungry. I'm going to go make some dinner, y'all. Thank you so much for this live stream. I had a lot of fun here today. And yeah, thank you all so much. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. If you have not seen the most recent video on the Reddit, Am I the Asshole reactions, you should go watch it because it's funny. It's a good, lighthearted video. And, you know, why not enjoy something new and different, right? Poached eggs are good. I do miss them. That's like, there are a few things I miss being vegan, but one of them is a good tuna fish and I used to say pulled pork, but now I have a good replacement for that. So my new answer is like tuna, because there's not really anything that closely replicates the exact texture. I want to experiment with maybe something with like banana, but not like banana flour, not like banana. That's supposed to be a good fish replacement. And poached egg. Not that I miss it actively, but just as a thing that's like, oh, I don't have that anymore, I guess. Huh? Weird. Anyways, see you later. Have a good night. Stay safe. Drink some water. Have a good weekend.